Rose slammed the door shut behind her, the echo reverberating through the empty hallway like a gunshot in the dead of night. "You can't do this to me, Dad. This is my home," she screamed, her voice cracking as tears streamed down her face. But the lock clicked definitively, sealing her fate on the cold New York City sidewalk, her belongings scattered in trash bags at her feet. In the bustling heart of Brooklyn, where brownstones whispered secrets of generations past, Rose Callahan had always found solace in the familiar creak of her childhood home's wooden floors. At 25, she was a barista by day at a trendy coffee shop in Williamsburg, dreaming of opening her own art gallery someday. Her sketches filled notebooks with vibrant scenes of city life, infused with the colors of her Irish-American heritage. But that night, as autumn leaves swirled around her like confetti from a cruel parade, everything changed. Her father, Patrick, a stoic construction worker who'd raised her single-handedly after her mother's death from cancer when Rose was 10, had remarried. His new wife, Marlene, came with 2 teenage sons from a previous marriage, and suddenly the 3-bedroom apartment felt too small. "We need the space, Rosie," Patrick had said earlier that evening, his eyes avoiding hers. "Marlene's boys deserve a proper home. You're grown now. Time to spread your wings." Rose had pleaded, her heart pounding. "But Dad, I've been helping with the rent. Where am I supposed to go?" The argument escalated, words flying like daggers. Marlene stood in the background, arms crossed, her perfectly manicured nails tapping impatiently. "This isn't about you anymore," she interjected, her voice laced with false sympathy. Patrick, torn but resolute, chose his new family. The eviction notice, informal, handwritten on a napkin, was the final blow. Wiping her tears, Rose gathered her bags and hailed a cab to the only place she could think of, her best friend Ruby's tiny studio in Greenwich Village. Ruby Martinez, 26, with her warm brown eyes and curly hair that framed her face like a halo, had been Rose's confidant since college. They met in an art history class at NYU, bonding over late-night study sessions and shared dreams. Ruby worked as a graphic designer for a nonprofit, her passion for social justice evident in every pixel she crafted. When Ruby opened the door, her face paled at the sight of Rose's disheveled state. "Oh my God, what happened?" she asked, pulling Rose inside and wrapping her in a hug that smelled of lavender and comfort. As Rose sobbed out the story, Ruby listened, her hand gently stroking Rose's back. "You're staying here," Ruby declared firmly, "as long as you need." That first night, they shared Ruby's pull-out couch, talking until dawn. Rose felt a spark she'd long ignored, the way Ruby's laughter lit up the room, the tenderness in her touch. But grief clouded her thoughts. Betrayal from her father stung like an open wound. "He chose them over me," Rose whispered. Ruby squeezed her hand. "Family isn't always blood, Rose. Sometimes it's the people who choose you back." Days turned into weeks. Rose crashed on Ruby's couch, job hunting during the day while grappling with the emotional fallout. Patrick called once, his voice gruff with regret, but Marlene's influence loomed large. "Give it time," he said before hanging up. Rose's anger simmered, mixing with a growing affection for Ruby. One evening, as they cooked pasta in the cramped kitchen, their hands brushed and time stood still. Ruby's eyes met Rose's, a silent question hanging in the air. "I've always felt something more," Ruby confessed softly, her cheeks flushing. Rose's heart raced. In that moment, amid the steam and spices, they shared their first kiss, tentative, then deepening with the weight of unspoken years. It was a revelation, a balm to Rose's shattered soul. But as their relationship blossomed, shadows from the past crept in. Marlene, sensing Rose's lingering pull on Patrick, began spreading rumors. At a family gathering Rose wasn't invited to, she whispered to relatives about Rose's lifestyle choices, twisting the narrative to paint Rose as the problem. Patrick, conflicted, started questioning his decision but doubled down under pressure. The drama escalated when Rose received a text from her cousin. "Heard about you and that girl. Uncle Pat's heartbroken." Rose confronted her father at a neutral coffee shop. "Is this why you kicked me out? Because I'm different?" Patrick's face crumpled. "It's not that, Rosie. Marlene just wants what's best for us all." But the lie hung heavy. The meeting ended in tears, with Rose storming out, vowing to cut ties. Back with Ruby, the romance deepened. They explored the city together, walks in Central Park, Stolen moments at indie bookstores. Ruby introduced Rose to her vibrant Ladings family, who welcomed her with open arms and homemade empanadas. Mi casa y es tu casa, Ruby's mother said, hugging Rose tightly. For the first time, Rose felt truly seen. Yet the wound festered. Rose's art reflected her turmoil. Canvases splashed with reds and blacks, symbolizing betrayal. Ruby encouraged her, entering one piece in a local contest. When it won, Rose dedicated it to the family I chose. Their love was a quiet revolution, blooming against the odds. As winter approached, a storm brewed. Marlene discovered old letters from Rose's mother, hidden in the attic, revealing Patrick's past mistakes. In a fit of jealousy, she threatened to expose them unless Patrick severed all contact with Rose. Torn, Patrick agreed, blocking Rose's number. The final betrayal hit like a freight train. Rose spiraled, questioning everything. "Maybe I'm not worth fighting for," she told Ruby one night, curled up in despair. Ruby held her close. "You are everything to me. We'll get through this." The holidays amplified the pain. Thanksgiving came and went without an invitation from Patrick. Rose and Ruby spent it with Ruby's family in Queens, where laughter filled the air, but Rose's smile was forced. "I'm grateful for you," she whispered to Ruby under the table. Their fingers intertwined. Yet the absence of her father gnawed at her. Ruby, sensing Rose's unrest, planned a surprise weekend getaway to the Catskills. They rented a cozy cabin, snow blanketing the ground like a fresh start. By the fireplace, they shared stories of their pasts. Ruby's coming out to her supportive parents, Rose's hidden crushes in high school. "I was scared," Rose admitted. "Afraid of losing more people." Ruby kissed her forehead. "You won't lose me." Their intimacy grew, emotional layers peeling away like onion skins. They danced to old jazz records, bodies swaying in rhythm, hearts sinking. But drama lurked. Back in the city, Marlene's sons, influenced by their mother's venom, started harassing Rose online. Anonymous messages flooded her social media. "Stay away from your dad, freak." Rose blocked them, but the words burrowed deep. One evening at a gallery opening where Rose's art was featured, Patrick showed up unannounced. His face was gaunt, eyes red-rimmed. "I need to talk," he said, pulling her aside. Marlene had left him, taking the boys and half his savings, after he refused to disown Rose completely. "I was a fool," he confessed, voice breaking. "I let her poison me against you." Rose's anger flared. "You chose her family over yours. Over me." Tears streamed as years of hurt poured out. Patrick hung his head. "Your mom would be ashamed of me. I see that now." The confrontation was raw, drawing stares from onlookers. Ruby stepped in, her presence a steady anchor. "Mr. Callahan, Rose needs time," she said gently but firmly. Patrick left, but not before slipping Rose an envelope. Old photos of her mother, a peace offering. That night, Rose and Ruby pored over them, memories flooding back. "She'd want you to forgive," Ruby suggested. Rose nodded, a seed of reconciliation planted. As spring thawed the city, their relationship faced its own trials. Ruby's job demanded long hours, leaving Rose feeling isolated. Doubts crept in. Was this love real, or a rebound from betrayal? One argument escalated when Rose accused Ruby of prioritizing work. "You're pulling away just like him," Rose yelled. Ruby's eyes filled with hurt. "I'm fighting for us, Rose. Don't push me away." The fallout lasted days, a cold silence blanketing the apartment. Rose wandered the streets, sketching in Washington Square Park, her art an outlet for confusion. A chance encounter with an old friend reminded her of life's fragility. "Love's worth the risk," the friend said. Reunited, they talked openly. "I'm scared of losing you," Rose admitted. Ruby smiled. "Then hold on tighter." Their bond strengthened, laced with deeper understanding. But Marlene wasn't done. She filed for divorce, dragging Patrick's name through the mud and implicating Rose in false claims to gain sympathy. Court papers arrived, accusing Rose of influencing Patrick against the marriage. The drama peaked at a mediation session, where Marlene spewed vitriol. "Your daughter's unnatural ways ruined everything," she screamed. Rose stood tall, Ruby by her side. "Love isn't unnatural, Marlene. Hate is." Patrick, witnessing the ugliness, defended Rose for the first time. "Enough. Rose is my daughter, and I love her as she is. The room fell silent, a turning point. Post-divorce, Patrick sought therapy, unraveling years of grief over his late wife. He reached out tentatively, inviting Rose for coffee. I want to know Ruby too, he said. Hesitant, Rose agreed. The meeting was awkward but genuine. Stories shared, apologies accepted. Ruby's warmth bridged gaps. As summer bloomed, Rose and Ruby attended Pride in Manhattan, flags waving like promises. Hand in hand they marched, surrounded by a sea of acceptance. This is our America, Ruby said, kissing Rose amid cheers. Yet shadows lingered. Patrick's health declined. A construction accident left him with a limp and mounting bills. Rose, torn between resentment and duty, helped financially. Family's complicated, she told Ruby. Their love became the constant in the chaos. A high point came when Rose's gallery dream materialized. With Ruby's design skills, they opened a small space in Bushwick, showcasing queer artists. The opening night was electric. Friends, family, even Patrick attended. Proud of you, kid, he said, hugging her tightly. But betrayal struck again. One of Marlene's sons, seeking revenge, vandalized the gallery, graffiti slurs marring the walls. Rose arrived to shattered glass, her heart breaking anew. Why can't they leave us alone? She cried. Ruby rallied the community. Neighbors helped clean up, turning tragedy into triumph. Media coverage highlighted their resilience, drawing more visitors. From ashes we rise, Ruby posted online, her words going viral. Through it all, their romance deepened, quiet evenings on rooftops, stargazing amid skyscrapers. Rose proposed impulsively one night, a simple ring from a street vendor. Will you be my forever? Ruby's yes sealed their future. As their engagement buzzed through social circles, challenges mounted. Patrick's recovery was slow, and he moved in temporarily with Rose and Ruby, testing their patience. The apartment, already snug, felt claustrophobic. I appreciate this, Patrick grumbled, his pride wounded. Rose navigated the dynamics, flashbacks to her eviction fueling tension. One night, over dinner, Patrick opened up about his regrets. I was scared after your mom died. Marlene seemed like a second chance. Ruby listened empathetically. Everyone deserves forgiveness, Mr. Callahan. Her kindness softened him. He began attending LGBT ally workshops, educating himself. Drama flared when Marlene resurfaced, suing for alimony and dragging old skeletons. She contacted Ruby's employer, spreading lies about their unstable relationship. Ruby faced scrutiny at work, her projects reassigned. This is harassment, she fumed. They hired a lawyer, turning the tables with evidence of Marlene's manipulations. The court battle was grueling, testimonies, tears, revelations. Patrick testified against Marlene, exposing her deceit. I lost my daughter because of you, he said, voice steady. The judge ruled in their favor, awarding damages. Victory was bittersweet. Scars remained. Amid the turmoil, Rose and Ruby's love shone. They planned a simple wedding in Central Park, cherry blossoms framing their vows. Friends from all walks attended. Ruby's boisterous family, Rose's art crowd, even Patrick's old buddies. To new beginnings, Patrick toasted, eyes misty. But life threw a curveball. Ruby discovered a lump during a routine checkup, benign, but the scare shook them. What if? Ruby whispered in the hospital waiting room. Rose held her. We'll face it together. The experience deepened their commitment, emphasizing life's fragility. Post-wedding, they honeymooned in California, driving the Pacific Coast Highway. Ocean waves mirrored their emotions, turbulent yet beautiful. We've weathered storms, Rose said, watching the sunset. Ruby nodded, and emerged stronger. Back home, Patrick found his footing, moving to a senior community. You've got your life now, he told Rose. Their relationship mended, built on honesty. Rose's gallery thrived, hosting events for marginalized voices. One exhibit focused on family estrangement, drawing crowds. A young woman approached Rose. Your story inspired me to come out. Tears welled. Impact rippled outward. Yet internal conflicts arose. Rose struggled with trust, nightmares of abandonment plaguing her. Therapy helped. Ruby her steadfast support. Healing isn't linear, Ruby reminded. A pivotal moment came when Marlene's son, the vandal, reached out apologetically. Mom twisted us against you. I'm sorry. Rose forgave, inviting him to coffee. Reconciliation bloomed unexpectedly. As years passed, this story spans months to a couple years for drama. Fast forward. Their first anniversary approached. Rose surprised Ruby with a trip to Ireland, tracing her roots. Amid green hills, they reflected on their journey. Back in New York, a family reunion loomed. Patrick hosted, inviting everyone, including Marlene's reformed son. Tensions simmered but dialogue prevailed. We've all made mistakes, Patrick said. Toasts to forgiveness echoed. Rose and Ruby's love, forged in fire, became a beacon. They mentored young queer couples, sharing their tale. Betrayal hurts but love heals, Rose often said. One evening, watching fireworks over the Hudson, Ruby turned to Rose. Ready for the next chapter? Rose smiled. With you? Always. The city pulsed around them, a testament to resilience. In America's melting pot, their story wove into the fabric. K-dramatic, emotional, romantic, humane. But wait, the narrative needs to build to a climax. Earlier conflicts resolved, but let's amp up. Suppose after the wedding, Patrick relapsed into old habits, influenced by lingering friends who disapproved of Rose's sexuality. He distanced again, missing their anniversary. Rose confronted him. I thought we were past this. Hurt resurfaced. Ruby mediated, but Patrick stormed out. Days later, a heart attack landed him in the hospital. Rushing to his side, Rose poured out her soul. I love you, Dad, despite everything. Patrick, weak but awake, squeezed her hand. I'm sorry, Rosie. For all of it. Recovery brought true change. He volunteered at Pride events, becoming an advocate. The family reunited, bonds unbreakable. In this whirlwind, Rose and Ruby considered adoption, dreaming of a child to nurture. Our family will be built on love, Ruby said. The story's heart. Amid betrayal's ashes, humanity prevails. Love in all forms endures. With Patrick's health scare behind them, life settled into a rhythm of quiet joys and subtle challenges. Rose's gallery expanded, hosting workshops for at-risk youth. Ruby freelanced, balancing career with their budding family plans. They attended fertility clinics, navigating the emotional maze of surrogacy as a same-sex couple in America. One consultation hit hard. Options are limited for non-traditional families, the doctor said diplomatically. Rose felt the sting of societal barriers. Why does love have to fight every step? She vented to Ruby. But determination fueled them. They researched, advocated, joined support groups. Drama resurfaced when an anonymous tip led to a social services visit. Concerns about your living situation, the worker explained. Fingers pointed to Marlene, still bitter post-divorce. Investigations cleared them, but the intrusion violated their sanctuary. We won't let this break us, Ruby declared, rallying friends for a fundraiser. The community responded, donations pouring in for legal fees and surrogacy costs. Patrick's involvement surprised. He organized a bake sale at his senior center, raising funds. For my grandkid, he said gruffly. As surrogacy progressed, they chose a donor matching their heritages, Irish-lating blend. The surrogate Elena became a friend, sharing ultrasounds that brought tears. It's a girl, Elena announced one day. Rose and Ruby danced in joy. But high drama struck. Elena faced complications, preterm labor threatening. Rushed to the hospital, the trio held vigil. Please be okay, Rose prayed, clutching Ruby's hand. Hours later, baby Lily arrived, tiny but fierce like her mother's. The birth was a whirlwind of emotion. Patrick arrived first, holding his granddaughter with trembling hands. She's perfect, he whispered. Marlene's shadow faded. New life eclipsed old grudges. Parenthood transformed them. Sleepless nights, first smiles. Lily's coos mended lingering wounds. Rose's art evolved, softer hues depicting motherhood. Ruby designed children's books, inspired by their story. A year later, at Lily's baptism, family gathered. Patrick's speech moved all. I almost lost everything to pride and fear. But love brought us back. Toasts flowed, forgiveness sealed. Yet life's not without twists. Ruby's mother fell ill, requiring care. They juggled, Rose stepping up. Family means showing up, she said, echoing lessons learned. In quieter moments, Rose reflected on her eviction, that cold night birthing unforeseen paths. It led me to you, she told Ruby, watching Lily play. Their romance remained vibrant. Date nights stolen amid chaos, whispers of forever. You're my home, Rose said often. The narrative's humanity shown in small acts. Neighbors helping with babysitting, strangers offering kind words at parks. In diverse America, their family represented progress amid setbacks. As Lily grew, so did their advocacy. They spoke at events, sharing their journey, from betrayal to bliss. Love wins, but it takes work, Rose emphasized. One evening, Patrick confided, I'm writing my will. Everything to you and Lily. Rose hugged him. We don't need things, Dad. Just you. Closure came when Marlene reached out, apologetic. I was wrong. Rose forgave, not for her but for peace. The story culminated in a family vacation to the Grand Canyon. Vast vistas mirroring their expansive hearts. Standing at the edge, Rose and Ruby renewed vows informally. Through every storm, Ruby said. Patrick, watching with Lily, smiled. You've taught me what family really means. Back in New York, life pulsed on. Rose's gallery hosted a retrospective. From eviction to embrace. Crowds marveled at the transformation. In this tapestry of drama and depth, their lesbian love story stood as a testament. K-dramatic turns yielding profound growth, romantic bonds defying odds, emotional depths explored, all wrapped in American resilience and humanity. Years unfolded like pages in a well-loved book, each chapter richer than the last. Lily, now 5, bounded with energy, her laughter echoing through their expanded Brooklyn home. A brownstone they bought with gallery profits and savings. Rose and Ruby balanced parenthood with passions. Rose curating exhibits on queer history, Ruby illustrating books that celebrated diverse families. Patrick, in his twilight years, lived nearby, a doting grandfather. Storytime with Grandpa, he'd say, regaling Lily with tales of old New York, sanitized versions of course. His transformation was complete. He marched in pride parades, rainbow flag in hand. For my girls, he'd beam. But life, ever the dramatist, introduced new conflicts. Lily started school, facing questions about her 2 moms. A classmate's taunt, "That's weird," sent her home in tears. Rose and Ruby comforted her, then addressed the school, advocating for inclusivity. Love comes in all forms. Rose spoke at a PTA meeting, her voice steady. The incident sparked a community initiative. Workshops on family diversity, led by them. Media picked up the story, dubbing them Brooklyn's beacon of love. Interviews followed, their tale inspiring nationwide. Internally, strains emerged. Ruby's career soared, requiring travel. Rose felt the pull of solo parenting. I miss you, she confessed during a late-night call. Ruby hurried home, recommitting. You're my anchor. A major climax brewed when Patrick's past resurfaced. An old colleague revealed a secret. Patrick had a half-sister from a youthful affair, abandoned long ago. Shocked, he confided in Rose. I need to find her. Together they searched, uncovering Aunt Siobhan in Chicago. The reunion was emotional, tears, hugs, stories. Siobhan, a widow with grown kids, integrated seamlessly. More family, Lily cheered. But it stirred Rose's old wounds. Why hide this? Patrick admitted fear. I was ashamed. Forgiveness flowed, strengthening ties. Romance between Rose and Ruby endured, spiced with maturity. Anniversaries involved picnics in Prospect Park. Reminiscing. From that eviction night to now, unbelievable, Rose marveled. Ruby kissed her. Our love rewrote the script. Humanity infused every arc. Helping neighbors during a hurricane, volunteering at shelters. Their story emphasized empathy amid division. As Lily turned 10, they planned a cross-country road trip, echoing their honeymoon. From New York's bustle to California's shores, they created memories. At the Grand Canyon again, Lily asked, how did you meet? Rose smiled. Through heartbreak and hope. Back home, a surprise. Siobhan moved nearby, expanding the clan. Holidays buzzed with blended traditions. Irish stew alongside empanadas. The narrative's close approach with Patrick's passing. Peaceful, surrounded by love. His eulogy delivered by Rose. Dad taught us that redemption is possible. From betrayal to belonging, he found his way. In grief, they leaned on each other. Lily's drawing. A family tree with intertwined branches hung proudly. Years later at Lily's wedding, Rose and Ruby watched her marry her love. A woman full circle. Like mothers like daughter, guests joked. Reflecting, Rose wrote a memoir, Evicted Hearts, A Journey Home. It became a bestseller touching souls. In America's vast landscape, their lesbian saga stood tall. Dramatic betrayals yielding romantic triumphs, emotional depths fostering humane connections. Love, resilient and radiant, prevailed. The end wasn't an ending but a continuum. As grandmothers, Rose and Ruby sat on their porch, hands clasped. "What a story," Ruby said. Rose nodded. "Ours."